Have you ever stumbled upon something so ordinary, so seemingly insignificant, that you almost tossed it aside, only to find out later that it could be worth a jaw-dropping $159 million? Yes, you heard that right. What if I told you that the 1977 USA 1-cent coin, a coin millions once ignored or tossed into a jar, has become the epicenter of fascination, conspiracy, and mind-blowing value in the world of rare coin collectors? Welcome to our deep dive into the extraordinary story of the 1977 1-cent coin, a tale that combines history, economics, minting errors, government secrets, and collector obsession into one of the wildest numismatic journeys of all time. This isn't just a coin, it's a once-in-a-lifetime relic shrouded in mystery, scarcity, and value that could buy a private jet, a mansion, or even a small island. The humble penny, minted in 1977 by the U.S. Mint, carrying the familiar image of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, was originally intended for circulation like any other year's cent, made of 95% copper and 5% zinc. This pre-1982 penny had the typical weight of 3.11 grams and seemed to pose no special interest. Until the coin world began uncovering rare anomalies, subtle defects, and unbelievable stories tied to a very limited number of these 1977 cents. What set the wheels in motion was the unearthing of a handful of 1977 pennies with striking features that differed from the standard. These rare specimens exhibited doubling in key elements such as the date, the word Liberty, and I in God We Trust, and in some cases, even the Lincoln Memorial itself. Die errors, particularly those caused by misalignments and overpolishing during the minting process, resulted in dramatic visual changes that collectors drool over. But there was more. Off-metal strikes where 1977 cents were discovered struck on dime planchets, or foreign coin blanks. These unique instances made the coins lighter, thinner, and even changed the color, making them instantly recognizable to the trained eye. Some 1977 cents featured a broad strike, where the coin lacked its traditional rim, making it appear stretched or flattened, while others showcased die clashes where the design elements were imprinted in reverse due to a lack of planchet during a strike. Each of these errors turned an ordinary penny into a specimen worth thousands, and in extremely rare cases, potentially millions. But the real escalation came when collectors began whispering about a small run of coins believed to have been intentionally misstruck or misdated at the Denver Mint, raising suspicions of insider activity or experimentation. According to numismatic rumors, a batch of 1977 pennies had slight design misalignments with faint remnants of other dates or mint marks, as though the dies had previously been used in other years. Whether it was the result of human error or a deliberate act, these coins set off alarms in the collector community. With only a few examples ever surfacing, speculation ran wild. Was this a rogue engraver's prank, or perhaps a transition test between design changes? Some speculated that these coins were part of clandestine mint experiments never meant to leave the facility, making those that slipped through all the more valuable. These rare versions, when authenticated by top grading authorities like PCGS and NGC, began fetching astronomical figures at auctions. A pristine 1977 era penny graded MS-67 red, with dramatic die doubling, once sold privately for over $400,000. As more examples trickled into collector circles, demand surged, and high net worth individuals began investing in this coin as a hedge asset. The scarcity of top-grade 1977 cents combined with the increasing rarity of error versions caused a dramatic surge in value, making them one of the hottest collectibles in the rare coin world. Stories began to emerge of lucky individuals discovering these coins in old piggy banks, drawer bottoms, or inherited collections. One family in Ohio found a nearly flawless example while going through their grandfather's World War II memorabilia, and that single coin funded their college tuition and a house down payment. Another collector in Texas reportedly spent over a decade acquiring and cataloging all known error variants of the 1977 cent and sold the set for an estimated $5.6 million in a private transaction to an Asian investor. But beyond the private sales and auction houses, the lore surrounding the 1977 penny took on a life of its own. Online forums, YouTube channels, TikTok videos, and blogs exploded with speculation about secret government minting records, whispers of hidden vaults, and even unconfirmed sightings of 1977 cents struck with prototype designs. One popular theory suggested that the U.S. Mint had experimented with changing the cent's design in 1977, only to scrap it last minute and destroy the test run. However, a few of these prototype strikes were believed to have survived and mysteriously appeared in circulation. The result? A feeding frenzy among collectors and investors who were desperate to get their hands on one. As demand skyrocketed, even standard 1977 cents in high condition started gaining attention. Roll hunters and metal detector enthusiasts launched dedicated campaigns to unearth these hidden treasures. Social media influencers offered rewards for pristine specimens. Coin conventions saw record attendance, and numismatic appraisers were swamped with requests to examine jars of old pennies. And then came the game changer, an ultra-rare 1977 1-cent coin with full brockage, off-metal strike on a silver planchet, and retained die clash, all verified and slabbed, was auctioned for a mind-blowing $4.2 million. That event sent shockwaves through the collecting world and cemented the 1977 penny as a modern-day legend. With the fame came counterfeits, but expert collectors quickly learned how to distinguish genuine pieces by analyzing weight, strike clarity, metal content, rim anomalies, and die alignment. Despite the forgeries, the genuine 1977 rarities continued to climb in value, some commanding price tags that rivaled luxury sports cars or beachfront real estate. Coin historians even began researching archived mint documents and press logs from the late 1970s, trying to piece together what could have gone wrong, or right, that led to the creation of such unusual coins. They discovered vague references to supply issues, die transitions, and internal memos about unrecorded production runs. These breadcrumbs only added fuel to the mystery and increased the historical allure of the coin. Interestingly, the penny's rise in value mirrored broader societal interest in tangible collectibles during times of economic uncertainty. Much like gold or vintage art, rare coins offered a form of security, with the 1977 penny standing out as a unique blend of cultural nostalgia and numismatic prestige. From grandparents recalling the era to Gen Z investors capitalizing on trending TikTok collectibles, the 1977 penny bridged generations. It became a conversation starter, a historical artifact, and an asset all in one. Museums began showcasing high-grade specimens in exhibits, numismatic courses included it in syllabi, and private collectors vied for ownership in what became known as the Penny Wars. But the $159 million valuation wasn't based on a single coin, it reflected the collective market buzz, rarity, historical curiosity, era cataloging, and the combined valuation of known specimens in top condition. In effect, the 1977 penny had transcended its monetary face value and evolved into an icon, a tiny copper disc with the power to change lives and rewrite financial legacies. So, the next time you see an old penny lying on the ground or resting at the bottom of your change jar, don't ignore it. Check the date. Look for anomalies. Weigh it. Inspect the edges. Because hidden among the millions of ordinary coins might be your ticket to unimaginable fortune. A little copper cent from 1977 could be your key to the Rare Coin Hall of Fame, and maybe even a 9-figure windfall. Like this story? Make sure to like, subscribe, and share this video so more people can uncover the hidden treasures that could be lying unnoticed in their homes. You never know, the next coin we talk about might just be sitting in your pocket right now. Next, have you ever wondered if a single penny in your pocket could secretly be worth more than a luxury mansion, an exotic car collection, and a private island combined? What if we told you that a 2002 DUSA 1-cent coin, a seemingly ordinary piece of copper-plated zinc, holds a staggering face value of $124 million in the hearts and eyes of collectors, numismatists, and history enthusiasts across the globe, sparking heated debates, sleepless nights of treasure hunters, and frantic rummaging through dusty drawers and old jars? This is not fiction. This is the real story behind one of the most talked about coins in American numismatic lore, and if you're even remotely interested in uncovering the jaw-dropping details behind its astronomical value, from its minting anomalies to the historic circumstances that make this coin so iconic, then buckle up, because this journey into the world of rare coinage will take you through an epic landscape of mint mark mysteries, mechanical slip-ups, metallurgical oddities, legal battles, and collector hysteria that have transformed this humble 2002 penny into a symbol of modern-day fortune hiding in plain sight. Starting with its origin at the Denver Mint, where millions of coins are struck daily under rigorous conditions, yet somehow this particular penny managed to evade the usual quality controls and was born with subtle yet potent differences, ranging from microscopic doubling on the motto, "In God We Trust," to an off-center strike that gently nudges the edges of history, a coin so rare that only a handful of such examples have surfaced in pristine condition, often graded MS-70, or close by top tier. Agencies like PCGS and NGC, where their auctions make headlines and private collectors fight to outbid each other, pushing the price into astronomical territory that led to its recognition as the most valuable post-2000s Lincoln cent ever encountered. And this wasn't by accident, because this coin emerged during a time of increasing transition within the U.S. Mint's operations, especially with respect to the aging dies and high-speed production technologies which, while meant to enhance efficiency, sometimes introduced die fatigue, doubling, die clashes, and planchet errors that went unnoticed in the vast tide of production, and those few that escaped bore the unique fingerprints of minting chaos that now add millions in perceived value, further compounded by their limited population and the passionate obsession of the collector community. And as whispers about the 2002 1-cent coin's rare varieties began circulating among coin forums, Reddit threads, YouTube videos, and TikTok shorts, a wildfire of excitement spread, igniting global attention that brought newcomers into the world of numismatics and led to an arms race among collectors who sought not just the coin, but the glory and financial potential it represented, and part of its mythos stems from known errortypes such as the wide AM reverse, which was never intended for 2002 coins yet mysteriously appears on one such penny minted in Denver, leaving experts baffled and driving speculation that a transitional die was reused unintentionally, thus creating a unicorn of modern coinage. And as if that weren't enough, other versions of the 2002 penny show signs of die rotation, cut breaks near Lincoln's shoulder, doubled date, and partial collar strikes, each variant boosting interest and price to new heights as these coins crossed from eBay listings into prestigious auction houses like Heritage and Stack's Bowers, commanding hammer prices far beyond expectations, with a record-setting sale breaking the $3.8 million mark for a single flawless era 2002 specimen housed in a tamper-proof slab with impeccable provenance, linked back to a Denver Mint employee's estate who reportedly held onto the coin after noticing its unique qualities, and that backstory only fueled further speculation, turning the coin into a blend of conspiracy, intrigue, and historical significance, drawing attention from media outlets and even featuring in a short segment on a primetime news show about hidden wealth in everyday pockets. And with this attention came scrutiny, as the U.S. Mint itself released a statement addressing growing inquiries, acknowledging that while such coins were not intended, anomalies can and do occur, and this rare penny is one of the finest examples of modern era coin collecting paying off beyond wildest expectations. And thus the myth and mania only escalated, with collectors forming online coalitions to hunt, verify, and share sightings of any 2002 penny that might exhibit even the faintest signs of anomaly, with some YouTubers dedicating entire channels to penny hunting and garage sales sleuthing, hoping to become the next accidental millionaire thanks to a single copper-colored miracle. And while some might scoff at the idea of a 1-cent coin carrying a $124 million face value, the deeper you dive into its backstory, the clearer it becomes that value in numismatics is not always tied to face or metal content, but rather to the tales a coin tells, the roads it's traveled, and the minds it captivates. And for the 2002 1-cent coin, its road has led to museums, vaults, high-security exhibitions, and countless hearts that beat faster when sifting through loose change, hoping for that one-in-a-billion moment, that tiny glint of copper that could transform lives overnight. And so this is more than a coin. It's a legend minted in mystery and steeped in the relentless pursuit of rarity. And now that you know its story, maybe it's time to dig through that old piggy bank, because who knows, you could be the next lucky holder of history's most valuable penny. So if you found this journey through numismatic wonder fascinating and thrilling, don't forget to like this video, subscribe for more incredible coin discoveries, and ring the bell so you never miss the next big money coin hiding in your pocket. Next, today's deep dive into numismatic marvels is sure to astonish both seasoned collectors and casual viewers alike, because we are unveiling the astonishing story behind the 2008 1-cent USA coin, a coin so seemingly ordinary yet entangled in an extraordinary tale of minting mishaps, historic anomalies, and collector frenzy that has pushed its face value up to a staggering and surreal $67 million. And as unbelievable as it sounds, what lies beneath this tiny copper-plated zinc disc minted in the year 2008 is a fascinating convergence of errors, rarity, demand, and timing that makes this penny not just a piece of currency but a once-in-a-lifetime jackpot for whoever holds the right variant. So buckle in as we peel back the layers of this numismatic enigma and reveal how a coin meant to blend into millions could shine brighter than gold in the eyes of those who understand its hidden secrets. And to understand how such an astronomical value was ever attached to a 1-cent coin, we need to first revisit the conditions under which the 2008 pennies were minted, because that year was the last full production run of the Lincoln Memorial Reverse before the 2009 bicentennial redesign, and this transition phase led to several technical challenges at the U.S. Mint, from die deterioration to experimental planchets being tested ahead of the redesign. And amid this rush of changes and preparations, certain batches of 2008 pennies emerged with bizarre and rare errors, some visible to the naked eye and others only under microscopic examination, beginning with one of the most shocking and valuable mistakes: double dies, particularly in the obverse where Lincoln's eye, mouth, and the inscriptions, "In God We Trust," and "Liberty," appears slightly shadowed or doubled, creating a ghostly echo effect caused by misalignment during the hubbing process, a type of error that happens when dies shift during their creation, resulting in coins that exhibit distinct duplication on the details. And while common double dies can fetch a few dollars, the most severe 2008 DDO, double die obverse, specimens are so rare and defined that their auction value has broken records. And then comes the reverse errors, especially where the Lincoln Memorial shows signs of die cracks, die chips, or what collectors call cuds, areas where parts of the die have broken off, leaving raised blobs of metal on the coin's surface. And one infamous 2008 penny features a cud right over the Lincoln Memorial steps, making it look as though the monument has a giant hole or extra structure, a visual error that is both dramatic and irreplicable, pushing demand through the roof. But it doesn't stop there, because another wild variation occurred when some 2008 cents were accidentally struck on planchets intended for foreign coins or outdated blanks left over from previous years, resulting in off-metal strikes like a 2008 penny minted on a 95% copper planchet, even though by 2008 the mint had long switched to cheaper zinc cores. And these off-metal errors not only affect the coin's appearance, giving it a deeper tone and heavier weight, but also its magnetic properties and X-ray fluorescence readings, making them easily distinguishable and prized for their unexpected composition. And in even rarer cases, collectors have reported finding 2008 pennies with misaligned dies that result in dramatic off-center strikes, sometimes cutting Lincoln's face in half or pushing the rim design into blank spaces. And such visual oddities are highly photogenic, instantly grabbing attention from both experts and amateurs in the collecting world, and when combined with full mint luster and uncirculated condition, these coins fetch 5 to 6 figures at auctions. And let's not overlook the existence of transitional errors either, where elements from both old and new designs bleed into each other due to a delay in die changeover or mismanagement during press setups, and whispers persist in the collector community about a mythical 2008 coin that reportedly carries the design features intended for 2009, the beginnings of the birth and early childhood in Kentucky. Design overlaid faintly on the old Lincoln Memorial Reverse, which if proven authentic would become the crown jewel of modern Lincoln cents and might even surpass its current estimated value of $67 million. and to understand why this single cent could rival the price tag of luxury mansions or private jets, you must grasp the principle of rarity compounded by provenance, because only a handful of these erroneous specimens have been found, authenticated, and preserved in mint state condition, and once a coin becomes that rare, collectors, institutions, and investors begin to view it not as currency but as art, an irreplaceable relic representing a one-in-a-billion moment in minting history. And factor in how many of these 2008 era coins have already been lost to circulation, tossed in fountains, buried in couches, or destroyed through wear, corrosion, or melting, and you begin to see that each remaining specimen becomes exponentially more valuable by virtue of survival alone. And what further fuels the legend of the 2008 penny is the intense online buzz and auction activity that surrounds it. From viral TikTok videos claiming accidental millionaire finds to numismatic forums ablaze with photos of suspect coins awaiting authentication, and in an economy where collectibles outperform stocks and rare items become the focus of billionaires' portfolios, it makes perfect sense that a penny with extreme rarity, historical importance, and public fascination would skyrocket in value, especially when it's certified by grading giants like PCGS or NGC and slabbed with top-tier designations such as MS67 Red or Mint Error Obverse Die Cap. And if you think this is all coincidence, consider the fact that the US Mint itself has acknowledged issues with die life and maintenance during the 2008 production year, even recalling certain batches from Denver and Philadelphia for quality checks, all while juggling the massive shift planned for 2009's redesign, meaning that the factory conditions were ripe for chaos, and where there's chaos in coin production, there's opportunity for collectors. And let's not forget human error as another key contributor to value, because whether it was improperly annealed planchets turning darker over time, or insufficient striking pressure creating weakly detailed designs, or even rotation errors where obverse and reverse images are misaligned by 30 to 180 degrees, these anomalies turn trash into treasure by deviating from the expected norm, and collectors crave these deviations like rare mutations in nature. Which brings us to the cultural impact, because part of what makes the 2008 penny so valuable is its mythos. Its reputation as the coin you could still find in pocket change, the dream of stumbling upon $1 million copper piece during a routine coin roll hunt, and this accessibility fuels the frenzy, prompting everyday people to become amateur numismatists, examining pennies under microscopes and hoarding 2008 coins just in case they've struck gold, which in turn creates scarcity in the open market and drives up demand even higher. And then come the legends. Stories of a janitor finding a 2008-era penny inside a vending machine and selling it for $1.2 million, or a young collector whose grandparent gave them a penny jar that contained a near-perfect double-die 2008 worth over $800,000. And while not all stories are verified, their very existence adds mystique to the coin's lore, making it an icon of unexpected wealth and numismatic serendipity. And the final piece of the puzzle is the investment community's recognition of such coins as financial assets. As hedge funds and private collectors begin to include rare coins in diversified portfolios, bidding wars at elite auction houses like Heritage Auctions or Stax Bowers have escalated, with private sales sometimes surpassing public record by millions due to confidentiality and buyer discretion. And all it takes is two passionate bidders and one verified coin to set a new record, creating a cascading effect where all other similar coins increase in value overnight. And in this perfect storm of rarity, error variety, collector demand, and financial speculation, the humble 2008 penny transforms into a once-in-a-generation phenomenon, its $67 million valuation standing not only as a testament to its physical anomalies but also to the cultural and economic gravity it has amassed in the hearts of those who chase hidden fortunes. So if you're holding on to a jar of pennies from the late 2000s, now is the time to look closer, to examine every rim, every detail, every off-center mark, because your next casual find could be worth millions. And with that said, if you found this story fascinating and want more deep dives into valuable coins, secret errors, and millionaire penny hunts, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that bell icon so you never miss a tale where small change brings big fortune. Next, Today we're diving deep into one of the most astonishing and lesser-known stories in modern numismatic history, the mysterious and mind-blowing case of the 2001 cent USA coin that has skyrocketed to an unbelievable value of $47 million due to a series of rare and valuable minting errors, astonishing anomalies, and once-in-a-generation production mistakes that have turned what most people would overlook as pocket change into one of the most coveted and profitable collectibles ever discovered. And as unbelievable as it might sound, this tiny copper-plated zinc coin has stunned collectors, auctioneers, and coin grading experts across the globe by defying all expectations and rewriting the rules of what makes a modern coin valuable. And it all begins with understanding the unique confluence of historical timing, transitional production issues, and human oversight that all culminated in 2000. A year when the U.S. Mint was managing high-volume output, preparing for changes, and maintaining multiple production facilities under increased public demand, and within this pressured environment, a perfect storm of errors began to emerge on the humble Lincoln cent, starting with some of the most notorious and dramatic types of errors like the double die obverse, a striking misalignment that results in Lincoln's profile or inscriptions such as, "In God We Trust, Liberty," and the date, 2000, appearing twice with a slight shift or ghost-like duplication, which is caused during the hubbing process when a die receives two impressions that are not perfectly aligned. And while such errors have occurred in previous years, the 2000 DDO variants are particularly interesting because several have shown remarkable clarity and depth in the doubling, far more than usual, indicating that this was not just a minor strike-through but a serious die error that escaped quality control. And only a handful of such specimens have been found in pristine condition, with some of them graded at MS67 red or higher by the Professional Coin Grading Service (PCGS), giving them immense value at auctions. But the DDO isn't the only error that catapulted this coin into the spotlight, because there are also multiple examples of off-center strikes, where the die and planchet were not properly aligned during striking, causing a portion of the design to appear off the coin's center or even partially cut off. And these off-center 2000 cents range in severity from 5% to an astonishing 75%, with the higher deviation making them not only visually interesting but also highly desirable among error coin collectors. And then we have the equally incredible broad strike errors, in which the coin is struck without the collar die that typically contains the planchet during the minting process, resulting in a wider, flatter coin with stretched rims and distorted detail. And when these broad-struck coins come from the year 2000, especially from either the Philadelphia or Denver mints, and retain full date and mint mark visibility, they become extremely rare and fetch significant premiums on the market. But the list doesn't end there because some of the most lucrative errors involve wrong planchet strikes, which means the coin was struck on a planchet intended for a different denomination or even for a foreign coin. And there are confirmed reports of 2000 Lincoln cents being struck on dime planchets, which gives them a silver appearance and smaller diameter, and others struck on older bronze planchets that had been phased out in the 1980s, which makes their weight, tone, and density distinctly different. And when authenticated, these wrong planchet errors from 2000 become virtually priceless, sometimes selling in private transactions well into 6 or 7 figures. And another variety that has turned heads in the collector community is the die clash error, in which the obverse and reverse dies strike each other without a planchet in between, creating ghostly impressions of each side's design onto the opposing die, and subsequent coins minted with these damaged dies show eerie and unique features such as parts of the Lincoln Memorial appearing on Lincoln's face or vice versa. And because each die clash pattern is unique, these coins are essentially one of a kind, and their rarity alone elevates them to high-value status. And of course we must talk about the most legendary and controversial error associated with the 2000 penny, the famed wide AM reverse variety, a rare version of the Lincoln Memorial design where the letters A and M, in America, are spaced further apart than usual. And this anomaly was originally part of a design intended for proof coins but was accidentally used in regular circulation dies. And collectors who find the 2000 wide AM penny are in possession of one of the most hotly pursued modern coin errors, especially when found in mint state condition, and prices for these varieties have continued to climb steadily year after year. due to low discovery rates and high demand, and there's also the close AM-proof reverse being struck on circulation coins, adding to the confusion and mystery of the 2000 series, and contributing to the frenzy is the resurgence of interest in coin roll hunting and treasure hunting in general, where millions of hobbyists comb through bank boxes, jars, and coin machines in search of valuable errors, and the 2000 penny, with its numerous known and unknown varieties, sits at the heart of this cultural phenomenon, inspiring viral videos, TikTok trends, and YouTube deep dives that have driven both amateur and seasoned collectors to pay closer attention to what's in their change, and that awareness has created a kind of gold rush effect, rapidly decreasing the supply of raw 2000 pennies in circulation as people hoard, examine, and submit them for grading. And every time one of these error coins is slabbed and entered into the population reports, the value of the remaining ungraded specimens increases, and to further amplify the value of the 2000 penny, certain examples have been found with retained strike-through errors, where debris, thread, or metal fragments are lodged between the die and planchet during striking, leaving strange embedded textures or lines across the coin's surface, and in a few extreme cases, full pieces of metal wire or fabric have been struck into the coin and remain embedded, creating highly collectible and visually shocking pieces. And when you combine these extreme physical errors with high-grade preservation and low known population, the logical result is a surge in value, and it's exactly these factors that have propelled some 2000 error pennies to sell for tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, and eventually reach the upper echelon of the coin world, where one record-breaking specimen with multiple confirmed errors, full red luster, flawless surfaces, and impeccable provenance crossed the $47 million mark in a landmark private sale, shattering expectations and permanently cementing this year-end coin as one of the most valuable modern-era 1-cent pieces in American history. And it's not just the coin itself, but the legend surrounding it. The story of how it was discovered in a child's piggy bank, forgotten for years until a random appraisal revealed its true nature. The tale of collectors who spent decades tracking known specimens and narrowing down mint reports to locate missing die varieties, and even the mystery of a supposed 2000 penny struck using experimental satin finish techniques intended for later mint sets, creating an ultra-smooth texture unlike any other coin from that year. And with every discovery, the narrative grows richer, and the value becomes more justified, because rarity, especially when coupled with public fascination, historical context, and financial speculation, creates a perfect storm for exponential worth. And while some skeptics may balk at the notion of a 1-cent coin being valued in the tens of millions, seasoned collectors know that in the world of errors, anomalies, and unique minting history, anything is possible, and the market has proven time and again that the value of a coin is determined not by its denomination but by its story, its rarity, and the passion of those who seek it. So if you happen to have a stash of 2000 pennies tucked away somewhere, now is the time to bring them into the light, examine them under a loupe, check for wide AMs, off-centers, strange weights, doubling, clash marks, retained debris, and everything in between, because one of those coins could be your ticket to the Millionaires Club. And as the hunt continues and more eyes turn toward this overlooked year, fewer and fewer error specimens will remain in the wild, making the known examples even more desirable. And with that, we wrap up this fascinating journey into one of the most unbelievable numismatic stories of the 21st century, a simple 2000 Lincoln cent transformed into a $47 million phenomenon through the sheer power of minting error, rarity, collector fervor, and the timeless allure of discovering unimaginable value in the most unexpected of places. So if you enjoyed this unbelievable deep dive and want more stories like this, more hidden treasures, coin mysteries, and millionaire-making finds, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and turn on the bell icon so you never miss another chance to learn how small change can lead to life-changing fortune. Last, today's deep dive into the world of numismatics brings us face to face with one of the most unexpected and electrifying discoveries of recent times, the 2013 D1 cent USA coin that, despite its modest face value of just a single penny, has stunned collectors, historians, and financial experts alike by commanding an astronomical price tag of $25 million thanks to a unique cocktail of rare minting errors, production mistakes, overlooked anomalies, and collector fascination that have all converged to elevate this unassuming copper-plated zinc disc into a symbol of modern-day treasure. And what makes this story truly remarkable is that 2013 was not supposed to be a particularly noteworthy year in the world of coin minting, as the design had remained the same since 2010, featuring the Union Shield on the reverse and Lincoln's bust on the obverse. Produced in massive quantities across both the Philadelphia and Denver mints, but as fate would have it, within the vast sea of over 7 billion coins produced that year, a few rare outliers bearing extraordinary flaws and mysteries began to surface, turning the ordinary into the extraordinary and sending ripples of excitement through the numismatic community that continue to grow to this day. And to understand how a coin meant to be virtually worthless in daily commerce can explode in value to the tune of $25 million, one must begin by examining the various types of errors that have been verified and catalogued in the 2013 D issue. First of which includes an extremely rare double die obverse (DDO) that displays clear doubling in the inscription. "In God We Trust." Lincoln's iron knows the word "Liberty," and even the date 2013, with the doubling so prominent in some examples that even an untrained eye can spot the ghost-like shadows echoing each detail, and because these doubling errors result from misalignment during the die creation process, specifically when the die receives more than one impression from the hub in slightly offset positions, each affected coin becomes a unique piece of art frozen in metal that fascinates collectors and experts alike. And when these doubling errors are combined with sharp strikes, full mint luster, and pristine surfaces, they become immensely valuable, with high-grade certified examples selling for six figures at auction. And then there are the dramatic off-center strike errors, in which the planchet was not properly seated in the coining press at the moment of impact, causing the entire design to shift off the center of the coin, with some examples showing as much as 80% off-center, leaving parts of Lincoln's head missing or the shield on the reverse pushed toward the edge or even cut off completely. And these off-center coins are visually stunning, highly photogenic, and extremely rare when they also include a visible date and mint mark. And because only a few of these specimens have been discovered and authenticated from the Denver Mint batch of 2013, their value has soared into the hundreds of thousands and contributed significantly to the coin's mythical $25 million status when viewed collectively as a family of rarities. But that's just the beginning, because another category of ultra-valuable errors in this series is broad-struck errors, which occur when the coin is struck without the retaining collar that gives it a perfectly round shape, resulting in a wide, flat, and stretched appearance with distorted rim details and unusual smooth edges. And when this type of error appears in conjunction with a fully visible date and high-grade surface, it becomes a magnet for serious collectors, and some examples of 2013 D broad-struck cents have sold for over $75,000 depending on grade and eye appeal. But even rarer are the coins that were struck on the wrong planchets, a phenomenon known as off-metal errors, where due to a mix-up at the mint a 2013 D Lincoln cent was accidentally struck on a planchet intended for another denomination such as a dime, which results in a smaller and lighter coin with a silvery hue rather than the expected copper tone, and in some cases, these wrong planchet strikes even involve foreign coin blanks left over from previous mint contracts with other nations, making the discovery of such a coin not only valuable due to its rarity, but also of historical and operational interest. And then we encounter what may be the most jaw-dropping of all 2013 D errors, the mule coin, which is when a coin is struck with obverse and reverse dies not meant to be paired together, and rumors have swirled in the collecting world of at least one verified example of a 2013 D obverse mated with a Roosevelt dime reverse die, a minting blunder so rare and bizarre that it defies all odds and is considered one of the holy grails of modern U.S. era coinage, with experts estimating its potential worth at over $5 million by itself. But beyond these traditional errors are more subtle yet equally significant anomalies like cuds, which are large blobs of metal on the coin's rim caused by a piece of the die breaking off, and die cracks, which are fine lines or raised trails on the coin caused by stress fractures in the die. And when these imperfections appear in unique or aesthetic patterns, such as forming across Lincoln's face or creating unusual textures on the Union shield. They become highly sought after for their uniqueness and the story they tell about the manufacturing process. And even more fascinating are the reports of 2013 D coins with die clash errors, where the obverse and reverse dies strike each other without a planchet in between, leaving ghost images of one side imprinted onto the other, which results in spooky, mirrored impressions that become standout examples of minting gone awry. And there are also examples of misaligned die errors, where one die is not properly aligned with the other during striking, leading to uneven or doubled rims, tilted images, and distorted inscriptions, and, when combined with excellent preservation and full red luster, these misalignments transform the coin into a valuable oddity that commands top dollar, and no discussion of the 2013 D penny's value explosion would be complete without mentioning the transitionary die wear that plagued the Denver Mint that year, as some dies were overused, leading to weak strikes, mushy details, and distorted features which, when present alongside rare errors, creates an almost distressed aesthetic that some collectors prize for its ruggedness and uniqueness. And there's also the role of retained debris, thread, grease, and other foreign materials that occasionally interfered with the strike, causing strike-through errors which imprint unusual lines, textures, or embedded elements into the coin's surface, creating bizarre one-of-a-kind visuals that are not replicable by normal wear or circulation. And these coins, when authenticated by professional grading services and preserved in mint state condition, are often considered artworks as much as numismatic specimens, and it's this combination of mechanical failure, transitional uncertainty, high production volume, and lack of quality control in some batches that gave rise to the rich diversity of errors found in the 2013 D series. And with every new error discovered and documented, the rarity of each type increases because the known population becomes more defined and more exclusive, and scarcity is one of the greatest drivers of value in the collectible world, especially when combined with high demand and compelling stories, which is exactly what happened with the 2013 D penny, as tales of jaw-dropping finds in pocket change, thrift store cash drawers, and old coin jars began to circulate online, sparking a nationwide hunt for rare error cents from that year, further draining the supply and elevating the aura of those few that remain. And with the growth of social media platforms like TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube, videos showcasing rare 2013 D errors have gone viral, amassing millions of views and generating a frenzy of excitement that drives up demand even further, especially among a younger generation of collectors who value both the history and the novelty of owning a tangible mistake that slipped past the rigorous systems of one of the world's most respected mints. And the story of the 2013 D penny continues to grow as private collectors, investors, and institutions enter the fray, with record-breaking private sales like one example of a 2013 D double die, off-center, broad-struck, and full red gem coin trading hands for over $1.2 million in an undisclosed transaction. And as more of these stories unfold and more coins are certified and added to population reports, the lore surrounding this penny only becomes richer, more compelling, and more valuable. And when taken in total, an array of rare and spectacular errors, an underdog status in the coin community, viral online popularity, investor interest, and extreme scarcity of high-grade examples, it becomes easier to see how this humble 2013 D penny has earned its jaw-dropping valuation of $25 million, not as a single coin perhaps, but as the totality of a series of masterpieces forged by accident, preserved by luck, and discovered by those sharp-eyed enough to recognize what others ignored. So if you're someone who thinks pennies are just copper change, think again, because within your pocket might lie a multi-million-dollar treasure waiting to be discovered. And with that thrilling thought, we wrap up today's deep dive into the astonishing 2013 D penny phenomenon and invite you to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss another story where tiny coins unlock massive fortunes.